Hello, my brother.
Hello.
We are burdened with glorious purpose this evening, are we not?
Yes, quite. This whole universe is mine for the taking.
I mean, ladies and gentlemen, this is Bernard Rye. You're listening to the Bodacious Rant, or watching us as well.
Mm-hmm.
But this is such a weird episode for me to talk about, just because tonight we are reviewing Loki, which just premiered on Wednesday on Disney Plus, which is kind of not only a different thing because usually the shows are on Fridays, but because of that, it's almost going like with the summer movie schedule, where like it can drop any day, but it's on Wednesdays, so.
Yeah, it's kind of like its own extended summer movie, to be honest. Like, we had a little bit of a preview of it with Falcon and Winter Soldier, but that was like back in March. And it's like, now it's like really like smack dab in the middle of summer, and it's like, Marvel's like, here, instead of a movie, here's a show.
Seriously, and with them dropping like the trailers for the Eternals, they're hinting at Spider-Man No Way Home. And like Shang-Chi. You think, okay, the Marvel Universe can't get too much bigger than that stuff. This show totally just flipped everything we knew into like everything looks like child's play. And that was the Infinity Saga with Thanos and the Decimation. And, I mean, I don't want to spoil it right now. We'll go into a little bit of spoilers, but it's so crazy. And basically the premise so far, this first episode dropped, is that Loki broke the time law. He broke the timeline, because if anyone who's seen Avengers Endgame, which I hope you all have, if you haven't, you're missing out on life. He escaped using the Tesseract that Ant-Man and Stark kind of botched, mostly because of Hulk. It's always the Hulk's
fault. Because of the stairs. it's all those stairs.
They just made him take the stairs. And yeah, so that's what got him in trouble with the TVA, the Time
Variance Authority.
The Time Variance Authority. And that was the crazy thing. I can't, like I said, I thought we knew everything about the MCU, and it's like, nope, this show just reminds you that there's so much more out there. Mm-hmm. And again, I applaud Disney Plus for these Marvel shows. These are top-notch expansion on these characters. Characters that, I personally just didn't really originally care for. Like, Falcon I always liked, but still not that important compared to Captain America and all those guys. Scarlet Witch, she's awesome, but again, did we really need a show? This proved us otherwise. Yes, we do. And now Loki. He's always been pretty much, for at least a good portion of the Marvel movies, he was always a straightforward villain. And then it was only until like Thor Ragnarok, Dark World, and that he basically kind of got more fleshed out.
Right.
And so seeing a new show with him, this is a show like I didn't really care for, and now I'm really hooked on it. I can't wait for next week.
Yeah, I mean, when Disney Plus and Marvel announced their initial lineup for the Disney Plus shows, this one was right at the top of my list of most excited. It was this one and WandaVision, the ones that I were most excited for, just because, again, of the subject matter, it being something very different than what we've gotten previously within the Marvel Universe. And so I was very much looking forward to this show, surprisingly, because I remember when they initially announced it, when they said, hey, we're going to do a Loki show, I'm like, okay, Loki show sounds kind of unnecessary because he died.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
I was like, all right, what are we going to do with this Loki character after we've already seen what happened? And the fact that they made it like really interesting, where it's like this whole branched timeline sort of thing, picking up where it left off in Endgame. I thought, okay, this is a really good end. And when the trailers were coming out, I'm like, this looks absolutely insane. Like, what
bonkers,
what is going on here? And so immediately I was like, this is my most anticipated. And I have to say that so far with the first episode, I mean, it hasn't disappointed. Like, it's lived up to my expectations personally.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I just didn't know what to expect with this. And then the first trailer was like, okay, this is interesting. I don't get it still, but all right. I mean, because I love the cast, and that's going to be one of the things we talk about in our little spoiler thing. But, so far I'm really liking it. It's definitely another show to peel back the layers. So I'm really excited to see what Loki can do in this series and what could happen with it. Shall we jump into the spoiler session, Bern? Anything else you want to shout out about it, or?
I guess just a more general shout out to say that it's so cool that even after 10 years that we're still learning more and more about this universe. You know, with WandaVision, where we really dug into the whole, you know, mythical, magical aspect of the Marvel universe, and then now we're going into the whole time things, which is really cool. So, I mean, the way that they've been keeping it interesting for the, you know, even 10 years later, it's just a tip of the hat to you know, Kevin Feige and that creative team over there, because damn it, they just keep bringing me back in.
Yeah, because everybody's talking about how Marvel is, you know, basically contributing to the downfall of superhero movies. Like, after they're done, there's not gonna be anything for a while, or like everybody's feeling superhero fatigue. But these shows, man, they remind me why we love it so much and how it could keep going. Like, I just want Disney to keep doing Marvel shows, man. Let's keep reeling them out. Let's see what else you guys can do. But
Absolutely.
anyways, let's jump into the spoiler session. So, guys, if you haven't seen it, definitely check this episode out. The first one's on Disney Plus, and come on back when you have, so that way we can you can unbox this with us a little bit. But yeah, let's get to it. So, you know what, Bern? Let me pass it to you because I know I had my crazy rant in the beginning. What was one of the things you really liked about this one, about this first episode?
I mean, I thought it started off really strongly. You know, picking up right where it ended off in Endgame, where he grabs the Tesseract and ends up in Mongol,
Mongolia or whatever.
Yeah, in Mongolia, and has a run in with those dang Mongolians. I'm just kidding. For those South Park fans, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Oh God, we're not talking about that one.
But it's just so funny because it, like, immediately, like right off the bat, it's really a the character of Loki just gets brought down a size, you know, where he goes onto that little rock and uses that as a pedestal to, you know, do his grandiose speech about how he should be a ruler, and then the TVA come in and just backhand him into that whole little time thing, and it's like, dude, you ain't nothing.
Yeah, and again, that's what I was talking about. Is like I'm really digging the explanation of time and the multiverse in this show. I think this one will be the one to really dive into it more so than like WandaVision and even Endgame. But yeah, the timekeepers were crazy cool. Like just the fact when she backhanded him and his mouth is still just feeling the waves of that hit, and she's like, yeah, now you're moving at this 1/16th of time, or like something, some tiny number, and it's like, yeah, but you're feeling everything right now. I was like, oh, that's badass right there. And yeah, that was just a little interesting. Because they could have done it where it's like he took the Tesseract and he's just kind of like already messing with time, and that's when they stop him. But I like how they stop him right then and there. Like, okay, Loki, like you fucked up. Come on along, let's go.
Like they shot that down right away.
And the fact again why it's crazy is because like him, Thor, and like Hulk, these have been some of like the big powerhouses of Marvel. Even him, even though he's a little he's more mischievous than strong, but he's a god in like, you know, human mythology. And then this show just basically reminded him like, dude, you ain't shit. Yeah. Yeah. In the funniest way possible, especially when he's going through processing the TVA instead of like a prison. It's more like an office building, like he's getting ready to start his first day of work. Yeah,
kind of like he's going to the DMV. You know, you have to take the ticket. Exactly. The whole ticket bit was amazing.
Like, and then there's one guy getting escorted with him, so it's like he's kind of seeing what could happen. And when he has to go through that long empty line, he's like, "This is ridiculous! This is dumb." And the other guy's arguing with one of the timekeepers, and he's like, "Wait, what are you doing?" Just bzz, like he disappears. Is like, I have my card. I have my ticket. I'm good.
Yeah, I got it.
That was crazy. Like, again, these are people that are controlling time and space. They literally have the power, and it's crazy to like just kind of be thrown into that through Loki's perspective, like a god himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that whole introduction of him going through the TVA, like you said, going through processing. You know, it did a really good job of one. You know, like I said earlier, bringing him down to size, where, you know, he's not even stronger than just like a security guard in that area, and just the way it establishes the physics and the world that he's in now in the TVA. We're learning about the time I forgot what that device is where he has that time collar around his neck.
Yeah.
It sets that up, and it sets up, the how like everything works differently there, and I like the aesthetic of the whole thing, how it's like this early like 70s like retro type of look to it. All of that would look great. I think that this is probably the best set work I've seen in the Marvel shows so far.
Oh, absolutely. Like again, it's even though it's kind of maybe you would think because it's all indoors, it's probably the easiest thing. But I'm like, no, it's the little details in in this building that really speak to a lot, like a very 80s, like 70s, almost even 60s aesthetic. And that's a crazy thing. There's almost like no set time period for this, just because it's within all of time. They could literally be sitting in a cave or in like a futuristic building. So I really like that part of it. But so far with this first episode, we don't see too many big name actors, and I kind of like that about this. Like Tom Hiddleston's technically the only one, and then we have Owen Wilson who plays Mobius, who's like one of the timekeepers who specializes with dangerous variants. And that was the thing. I like how Loki's considered a variant just because he kind of got away from it. And I like how he's trying to spin on the Avengers for doing it, because I was thinking, like, yeah, wait, technically didn't the Avengers just mess with time?
Yeah.
And it's like, but no, that was supposed to happen. And also because I was thinking, like, Cap reset the stones. Like, he put them back where they were supposed to go. So it's like, that kind of worked it out.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I just thought it was crazy how it's like, he tried to blame it on them. It's like, no, it's not about them. They're fine. It's you that's the problem. He's like, he just can't catch a break. Like, he's like, damn it. Like, he just kept trying to weasel his way out like he usually does. And it's like, nope, dude, Loki, you're fucked. No matter how you look at it, you're stuck there.
Yeah, like dude, for all like your power and your grandstanding, like, you're not getting out of this situation. This is one you can't, manipulate your way out of. It seems like they're having none of it.
They were not. And then how he tried to like do his old knives thing like he did in Ragnarok at Doctor Strange's mansion.
Yeah.
Or the house. What was that place called? The oh my god, I can't think of the name. But anyways,
the Sanctum, right? The
Sanctum, yeah, where he tries to do the whole knife thing. It's like, your powers don't work in the TVA. Like, good luck, dude. You are just an average freaking person.
Yeah, and I really like how that actress Gugu Mbatha-Raw, like how she played it. Like, it was very much like, for her it was just Tuesday. Like all right, Mr. Laufey son, like, are you guilty or you're not guilty?
Yeah, she's just a judge who's just like, not even a judge, almost like someone who's just like, all right, are you done or not? Like how there's the timekeepers, like the three faces on the wall, and the ones who created the flow of time. How she's almost like their, not assistant, but like their adjudicator, essentially, like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're the bosses. She's the one who does the dirty work for them, like does the hard work for them.
Yeah.
And so I liked her aesthetic with that, but like I said, she was great. Owen Wilson, I really liked his vibe as Mobius, just when he's in that church and he's investigating like these timekeepers that got killed off. And it's like it was in the 16th century of France.
Mm-hmm.
So he looks so normal. He almost gave like a noirish vibe, like not a hard-boiled detective, but just like a guy who's like seen so much and he's kind of like, I don't know what to do. Like, we just got to keep grinding after it and we'll get there, essentially.
Yeah, I very much like how toned down he is, kind of like how he plays it, where he, like you said, he is kind of the hard-boiled detective, but he's one that's like beaten down by the world. Like, he's not like very rugged and very noirish where they're having that like very intense internal monologue or anything, but you can see that that his job has kind of taken a toll on him a little bit, and it's a very different role for Owen Wilson as we've seen him before. We're used to the quippy, the wow guy, but here he's very understated, and I thought that was a very interesting choice.
Yeah, I mean, the only other role I could think of for him that was kind of like that I've actually seen him in was Marley and Me, just because he was just a much more average character. But
True.
So far, I'm liking what I'm seeing. I can't wait to see him in that. And then the other one was, let me look up her name. Oh yeah, Wunmi Masako from Batman vs Superman and Lovecraft Country. She plays Hunter B-15, the one who bitch slapped Loki.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, we haven't really seen her in an action role. She just played, the that one witness who testified to Superman's crime in Africa and BVS. And Lovecraft Country, she played Journey Smollett's sister. And
I still need to watch that show.
It's a solid show. I need to finish it, to be honest. I'm only like a couple episodes from finishing it, but she was badass, dude. She's a woman you do not want to fuck with at the TVA.
Oh yeah, I like how later on in the episode where they like to what do they call it, prune, where they have the little glow sticks and they just like completely erase someone
they
out
reset
of
people.
Yeah, I like how she's like, we're gonna prune on sight, and he's like, no, don't
like,
prune on sight.
No, just let him be, please. It's again, that's also kind of a noir thing where like he's like the calm, collected detective kind of, and then she's the one who's just like she's the hard boiled one out of the two. Like she's all about maintaining the law and just like I'm gonna bring the hammer down.
Yeah, she's that shoot first, ask questions later type person.
Almost like in Mission Impossible, like you prefer a scalpel, I prefer the hammer. She's the hammer, he's the scalpel.
Absolutely.
And then another kind of pleasant surprise was Eugene Cordero, which I didn't know his name until this show.
Oh,
but
he's so great.
That one Asian American guy where he's just in he's in a lot of stuff. Key and Peele, like he played a couple small parts. Mm-hmm. He was in that.
I loved him in The Good Place, where he plays.
Still haven't seen that one.
He plays Pillboy in The Good Place. For those of you who've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Like he's the dumbest character ever, but he's so hilarious, and he kind of plays it similar here too, where this character's kind of a bit of an idiot, but there's just like an endearing quality about him that you just want to like be friends with him.
And the only other thing I can really think of off the top of my head besides like a comedy was like he was in The Mule as like Bradley Cooper's snitch. But besides that, I haven't seen him much, but I liked him in this where he's just a guy who's he's been a part of the flow of time, but he doesn't know everything outside of work. Like when Loki threatens him, he's just like, "Oh, I'll gut you like a fish." Like, what's a fish?
What's a fish?
Like, how do you not know and Loki's like, how do you not know what a fish is? He's like, I don't know. This is all I know. Like, I've only worked here my whole life. Like,
yeah, he's like, I've only been in an office for the entirety of existence.
And the one thing that got me the hardest was when Loki manages to escape Mobius, and he gets a Tesseract because it's like, oh yeah, he has it in his desk. And he's like, are these Infinity Stones? Yeah. Like, oh my god, I'm the most powerful person. It's like, yeah, well, we got a lot of them. Everybody uses them for paperweights sometimes. And he had that moment like, holy shit, like this is the strongest, like these people can dominate the world if they wanted to. It's like that's all he's been after.
Yeah, it's the greatest power in existence. I think is something like similar to what he says. Where like you said, Infinity Stones that we've seen erase half of all life across the universe is just in someone's drawer. Like you said, they use it as paperweights. It's just this whole perspective change. I was like, this is insane.
Yeah, and I guess the last thing I kind of want to touch up on is just the expansion of Loki, like how Mobius is like interrogating him, and he's like, "So, do you like hurting people?" Yeah. That's just business question. It's like he's showing him all the clips, like from Avengers, from Thor, from all the movies essentially he's been in, and like especially when he's like, "Oh, like you love taking eyes, don't you?" And it has that scene in Avengers where he's like doing that holographic eye on that dude's face. It's like, dude, you are enjoying it, you like it, so but Loki refused to answer. It's like, you think it would be like, oh yeah, of course I love hurting people. Why not? And it's like, okay, but... And then we find out when he kind of goes back to that room just because, again, he's on the run just being a moron. Like, and he looks at the clips of, like, his mom dying and what happened in Thor Ragnarok and Infinity War. He was kind of like... That's all he's wanted. He's just wanted to be accepted and be loved. And it's like, damn, I mean... Because he did kind of redeem himself from Ragnarok and then Infinity War, but it's like... I didn't feel much from that compared to this episode. Like, I was like, damn, I finally get you, man. Like, I kind of feel bad for Loki at this point in time. Like, more so than I have.
Yeah, it was kind of a speed run of his character arc from, the first Thor movie to Infinity War, where we've seen that the thing he really does truly desire is love and acceptance. Like, even from the very first Thor movie where he wanted to wipe out the Frost Giants, he wanted to do it so that way, Odin would accept him and love him. and
Mm-hmm.
I like that they tied it all back together, and because I mean, this Loki, like we said, is the one from the very end of Avengers, so this guy hasn't gone through any of that character stuff. So this was a really, I thought the show did a really good job in the writing of it, especially with his conversations throughout the episode with Owen Wilson, where yeah, like Owen Wilson's character Mobius is just really, you're prodding him about like why, what makes Loki tick, like why do
Mm-hmm.
you do the things you do, like it. I forgot the line he says. He says with the character, no, with someone who has like so much ability, like it just seems a waste for him to just want to rule, you know, like all of like you're capable of so much more things than you're trying to achieve essentially. And I thought that was a really interesting like perspective on the character.
Yeah, like because like for a guy who likes to rule, you lose a lot. Like he's just fucking with him in the beginning,
Hmm.
but in the
Yeah.
end, when Loki finally tells him like, I don't like hurting people, it was just part of like, I mean, it's kind of a like a how do I put it? Like yeah, Loki, I'm sure you didn't enjoy what you did a little bit, but it was one of those things. Is like I don't completely enjoy it. I just did it to kind of give people the idea like this is who I am. So it's like it's almost like him just saying, "Yeah, I put a show on for people. That's not really me, though." And
Yeah.
Owen Wilson's kind of like, now I understand, but now you can help us. And after he sees how he died at Thanos' hands, he's kind of like holy shit. But like I can't go back. I can't change it. So who knows if we'll try and see if he'll try and change his future or if he's just gonna redeem himself and then go back and just be like, all right, this is what like I know what needs to happen now, kind of thing.
Yeah, he's in very much an interesting position to be in now that he knows what basically the chart of his life was going to be. You know, he having seen it firsthand. It, you know, if he goes back to his normal timeline, you know, his own universe, this is what awaits him essentially, and it's something that he doesn't really, it doesn't really work for him. You know, it's like Owen Wilson's character said, you know, you're meant to fail so that others can achieve greatness within themselves. And I
Mm-hmm.
think this Loki has very much an opportunity to write his own, like truly for the first time, have like agency over his own fate. And I thought that was a really cool introduction to this series essentially, where it's like this is uncharted territory for him. Like he's truly the only one of all the alternate versions of himself that can like really make their own path.
Yeah, exactly. But oh, and then how about the DB Cooper scene?
Oh my
I
god, the fact that I remember we saw it in the trailers and I thought it was gonna be like a whole
thought it was gonna be
huge.
way later,
Yeah,
but
that was
no, it's like
no,
this is basically like on a dare kind of, or like
yeah,
he
he lost a bet to Thor.
yeah, he lost a bet. Just Heimdall, brother. I hope you're ready for me. It's like, oh my god, that's how they answered the biggest one of the biggest mysteries in U.S. history.
It was Loki. And he got beamed out of out of the Midgard essentially.
Oh man! But besides that, there's not anything I'm really like I can nag on this episode for, just because. Yeah, I mean it's just setting up the show. The only thing I just wish they kind of gave more ideas like who they're chasing after in the timeline. But we just know that this person, this thing, is really dangerous and just on a rampage throughout time.
Well, they do
So
say it is Loki.
it
That
is. Oh shit! So he's basically chasing after himself.
yeah, I guess so he's chasing after another variant version of himself. That's
Oh
the
man.
impression I'm under with him saying no, the variant we're chasing is you, but you know you from God knows which timeline or universe or whatever.
Damn, I'm definitely curious to see how it'll play out. But oh man. Anyways, that's all from me. Burn. Anything else you wanna comment on?
No, I mean just that I think from the Marvel shows that we've gotten so far, for me personally, I think this was the strongest pilot episode. I think this one did a really good job of laying the groundwork for the world that we're going to be operating in. You know, set the rules, set the aesthetic essentially, and really put the character of Loki and you know the sub characters on this interesting path where I'm very curious to see where their arcs end up.
Absolutely, man. But now we just gotta wait another few days, and then Episode 2 will be out.
But at least they're on Wednesdays now, so it's not like at the end of the week. We can enjoy like in the hump day of the week.
Burn, 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 burn. What day is it? You could say it.
Hump day.
Woo woo! All right, my brother. I'll talk to you later. And everybody, check this episode out. Definitely another great show to watch. And stay bodacious and always keep on ranting.
Absolutely, and we are your rulers, and you must bend the knee.
Kneel, bitches. Kneel. I'll talk to you later, my dude.
Peace out, brother.